Once you realize that, what is the next step? What are you going to do next? How are we going to move forward? Let's get back on track and jump right back in there, because that's what it's really about, is keep moving forward.
It's time to start the show and educate the people. Oh, it's time to help you see just how you can be financially free with Cleo.
We're back for another episode of Financially Free with Cleo, and I'm your host, Cleo Childress. And this is part 4 of our Start Fresh series. So it's the last week of Start Fresh, and I want to give you some more encouragement, inspiration, and some actionable steps that you can take to really move forward and start fresh for this new year. So today it's all about those habits exposing our truths. Now, I know it's not always easy to think about our habits, especially if there's some negative habits. But the only way to get past them, to overcome these money challenges, is to face them head on and actually acknowledge what they are. So when I say habits expose your truth, they really tell a story. So for example, there's one thing that I usually will tell people to do when they are trying to work on starting with budgeting for the first time, right? I'll tell them to open up most of us have our bank's mobile app on our phone. So I'll tell them to open up your bank mobile app, look at the last 10 days of transactions, look at the last 15 days or the last 30 days of transactions, and actually look to see, where has your money been going? How much money have you received and how much is going out, and where is it going to? Do you have any overdraft fees? Is the amount of money going out more than the amount coming in? You know, that really tells a story. When we're swiping that card, that really tells a story. Not that it's all negative, but if you're someone that's struggling with living paycheck to paycheck, or you have struggles managing the money that you have, or if you have a lot of payments going out and you feel like you don't have enough money left at the end of the month, you have to really ask yourself, where's my money going? And sometimes we're so busy with life and with work and all these responsibilities, sometimes we don't even realize that we're spending all of this money. For example, several years ago, when I was struggling real hard, I was making a decent income, but I was still living paycheck to paycheck. And what I did one day, the first time I really looked at my transactions and was adding it all up with pen and paper, one month I had spent over $900, a little bit over $900 eating out. Now, to some people, that's a lot. To other people, it's not a lot of money. But for me, it was way too much to eat out. I could not afford $900 just on eating out. This is not counting groceries at the store. This is just strictly me going to sit in a restaurant and eat, or me going to a drive-through to get something, or me ordering takeout, or some being delivered, right? That added up to like $900 a month, and I started to think about other things that I needed or wanted or couldn't pay for. And I was thinking, you know what? That $900 could have paid for this or paid for that. Not that I'm saying don't eat out at all, but instead of spending $900, Cleo, I was like, you could have just stuck to maybe $100 or maybe just $50 or whatever your eat out budget would be. When you have certain money goals, and I know some people are like, oh, I don't want a penny pinch and I don't want to not be able to eat out when I want. I never tell people cut out eating out. The only time I say that is if you clearly have some serious money issues where eating out is holding you back from doing some other more important things right now. And sometimes we may just have to cut back for a short period of time, not forever, just for a short period of time. So my big issue was eating out all the time when I know my behind shouldn't have been doing that, because now I'm struggling to pay bills like your monthly regular bills, like rent, utilities, insurance, food, random things around the house like paper towels, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, things like that. When you're struggling to pay basic living expenses, you have a problem. You know, if you're always struggling paying those bills, it's a problem. And over the years, I started to realize I started to cut back on a lot of expenses. You know, that's one of the first things, you know, we're told that, hey, where can you cut back in your money, you know, in your expenses? What can you do without? You know, what can you get rid of or spend less on to have more money to do these other things? But you do get to a point where you can only cut back your expenses so much. Then you realize, you know what, now I need some more money. I have a video on YouTube. I'll link it in the show notes, but it's basically more income versus money management. And I asked the question, you know, do you need more money or do you need help managing the money you already have? Sometimes it's one or the other, and sometimes it's a little bit of both. But for me, my struggle was I was mismanaging the money I already had. You know, if you are making $40,000 a year and you are already struggling managing that, we feel like more money is the answer and that's what's going to help us, but it's not, because we're still going to have those same money habits. That's what I did, and a lot of us struggle with. Just because you make more, you're most likely going to spend more. You're most likely going to mismanage X a year. When we hear that number, we may think, oh, I'm going to do right by it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Then we get the money and we realize I'm still check to check and I make $20,000 more. Or maybe you increase your income to $50,000 more a year. There are people who make more and they still struggle. And that main issue is those habits. So I want you to take some time to look to see, what are your habits in your life? When you get paid, what do? What's the first thing you do when you get your paycheck? Even if it's not money from your paycheck, maybe it's a gift, maybe it's a bonus, maybe you won some money from somewhere, maybe you created a side job and got some extra money there. Like, wherever you're getting your money from, what do you do with it? How are you managing it? Do you use any apps? Do you use pen and paper? How do you keep track of it all? How often do you look at your checking accounts or your savings accounts or your investments accounts? How often do you look at your credit report? How often do you talk with financial professionals about your goals, about what's going on in your life right now, about what you're trying to work towards? How often do you even do a budget? Do you even have money dates with yourself, money meetings with yourself? Now, these money dates can look different, and I preach about these money dates. You should be having a meeting with yourself. And honestly, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It can be a money meeting, a money date. You can call it whatever you want to call it that makes you feel better. That's what you can call it. Whatever is going to hold you accountable and help you stick with it, that's what you can call it. But it's basically you having a meeting with yourself to check in. One of those meetings is going to be you creating your budget for the month, for the following month, right? But then you're going to be checking in with yourself every week, every 7 days to see, am I following the budget that I created? Is it working? What's working? What's not working? What do I need to change? Is there anything I need to remove from this workflow that I got going on? Anything I need to add? If you are single, live by yourself, if it's just you, then you're just going to have that meeting with yourself. You'll just need to find someone that can help hold you accountable, somebody that you can talk to, and someone that you trust. Because you know our finances are personal and private, but you have to be talking with someone about it, right? But if you are in a relationship, or if you're married, or if you live with family members or friends or have a roommate, whoever you share household expenses with, you need to be having a conversation and a meeting with them to make sure everyone is on the same page. This is kids included. These kids listen, watch, and learn all kinds of stuff. So do not underestimate what they can learn. If they can learn all this other random stuff online, they can learn some things that's really going to help them. Join me every single week on Sundays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for a money yoga session. You're probably wondering, what is this money yoga stuff? It's a vinyasa style yoga class with financial affirmations and financial empowerment. It's designed to help you relax, reset, and prep for the work week ahead. And if we are nurturing our mind and our bodies, we can make better financial decisions and live financially free. There will be Q&A at the end, so bring your money questions questions, you can register at cleoyogafinance.com/money-yoga. I'll see you on Sunday. Now let's get back to the episode. Now and later as well. So set some time. So for me, my money dates every week is on Sundays. Sundays is more like a rest, relaxation day for me, but it's also time where I actually can sit down and have my money meeting. And usually it depends on what I'm working on. Sometimes it's just 30 minutes. Sometimes it's an hour. Sometimes it's an hour and a half. It just depends on what I'm working on and what's going on that week. But it's basically to hold you accountable. Make yourself look at these numbers, look at these details, know what's going on, because the only way you can get closer to your financial goals and actually accomplish them is if you know what's going on at all times. Not that you have to be perfect, not that you won't fall off track. It's about if you fall off track, how quickly are you getting back on? Because things do happen and we do fall off track. But the most important thing is when you realize you've fallen off track, or you didn't do what you said you was going to do, once you realize that, what is the next step? What are you going to do next? How are we going to move forward? Let's get back on track and jump right back in there, because that's what it's really about, is keep moving forward. But if you do have people in your life that you can talk to on a weekly basis or regular basis, or at least a monthly basis, that's going to help you when times do get hard. Because what I used to do is when times would get hard, y'all, I would isolate myself and not talk to nobody because I just didn't know how to talk about my personal feelings around my money issues. I was embarrassed and ashamed, and I just didn't know how to get the words out, because in my mind, I'm thinking nobody else is struggling. I'm the only person that's struggling, which is not true. There's so many of us out there that has struggled with something in the past or struggling with something right now in your finances. But and I know it's hard to talk about it. I'm telling you, you will be free and delivered, and you will have so much more success in money if you start talking about it. Because when I started sharing my story, that was like a habit I was building. I was scared to talk to people about money or even share about my story. But when I started hearing other people talk about theirs, I'm like, wow, so I'm not the only one struggling. And then I'm like, wow, you got through that? If she can get through it, if he can get through their challenges, I know I can get there. But I got to believe it inside before it even changes. I know it's hard when you're in a situation. It's hard to see that it could be different. But you have to love yourself enough to know that you deserve better and that you can want better and that it's going to happen. Even though you're not sure how it's going to happen, you know it's coming. But your actions, those habits, they won't change. Believe it in your mind and in your heart. And then when you surround yourself around other people that love you and care about you and want to sin, and they are exposing you to new levels in life, you start to get more confidence in yourself. You start to be more happier about your journey. You start to appreciate your journey. You start to look at life differently than you used to. That's what evolving is about. That's what growth is about. I used to think about when I would hear people say change your habits, I would be like, I ain't trying to hear all of that. Because most of my habits was not good. I had some positive habits, but a lot of my habits was not great in the money department. And not just the money part, but just keeping my word, doing what I'm saying I'm going to do. It was not great in like relationships. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about friendships, relationship with people at work. Like I just wasn't really good at building relationships and nurturing relationships. But now I realize there's power in having different types of relationships, like genuine, real, valuable relationships with people, because that's how we get more opportunities and that's how we learn more when we do build quality relationships personally and professionally. And it just goes back to our habits. What are we doing every day? What are we doing every night? What do we do on the weekdays? What are we doing on the weekends? What are we doing at work? What are we doing after work? You have to think about all the things. I know it can be overwhelming, so I'm not saying assess every habit that you have in one sitting, but I want you to schedule time on your calendar this week to have your money date. Pick a day when you're going to have your money date. Now, me, I'm an early morning person. I'm an early bird. So when things require a lot of thinking, I need to do it early in the morning because I'm checked out after, I used to say after 6, but I think I'm going to change it and I'm going to say 3 o'clock. Like after 3 o'clock now, like I don't want anybody really asking me any questions that's going to make me really think. I don't even want to have to do my own work that's going to require me to think too much. There are going to be times where I have to, right? But overall, I'm more productive mentally and physically early in the morning. And that's why I wake up so early, because I get so much done. So think about your life and your habits. So think about your money habits. Think about your habits in your career, in business. Think about your habits in your relationships with romantic partners, with friends, your relationships with family, your relationships with just people in your community, in your city, relationships with people at work, relationships with people just online. We have people we talk to and see online every day that we feel, we have a connection with, but we may not have actually met them in person. Think about those relationships. Think about your spiritual life. Think about all these different areas of your life. Think about health. Think about your fitness lifestyle. What are these habits? What are the good ones? What are the bad ones? And ask yourself, what bad habits need to go? Can you let go of some of these bad habits on your own? You probably can. But there may be some habits that you need some help with getting rid of. It's all about removing some negative habits, adding some positive ones. You got to have a blend of a whole lot of different things to be able to get to the lifestyle you really want to desire, right? So I know for me, I struggle with asking for help because I've just been conditioned to do things by myself. And if I ask someone to do something and they move too slow, I'll just be like, I'll just do it myself, But I realize that's not a good habit to have, because whether if it's something personal you're trying to get someone to do for you or something business related, you got to educate and teach someone how to do something so that they can be efficient in what they're doing, right? But I know that's something that I know that's going to push me forward, especially in business. Like nowadays, y'all, like I have so much stuff that I'm working on right now, and I've realized like I need some assistance. And when I say assistance, meaning like I need some virtual assistance, like to work on some things for me. Because on one hand, I'm just trying to be honest with y'all and just share like one of my things that I'm struggling with right now. This is a habit, y'all. It's like I'll have something that I know I need to do, and I'll be like, what? It's not that difficult. I can just do it. But then I'll work on it, and I'm like, ooh, this is really taking way more time than I thought. Maybe I should hire someone to help me. And then as I'm thinking about looking for this person, then I start thinking, well, Cleo, you can get it in. You could do it. You could get it done. And it's this constant back and forth. Then it's 2 weeks later and I ain't got it done and ain't hired nobody to help me do it. So I realize if I want to level up to my next level and be successful and be the best I can be, I can't do it all by myself. And we hear so many people say that. Even if it's not in business, this could be in your personal life. I seen a post the other day. I forgot who it was. I see so many posts every day, but it was basically talking about areas in your life where you may need to hire some people to help with. And she had a chef on the list, makeup artist, hairstylist, and I think a wardrobe stylist or something like that. And when I saw that list, I was like, all of them. I need all of them, because if you just think about all the things that you do every day, you start to think about, like for example, I don't mind cleaning up and doing laundry. I'm usually really quick at it, very, very good at being organized and clean. So I actually don't mind cleaning. But when it comes to doing makeup, doing hair, and cooking, it's like I would love to hire somebody to do those things for me, because I know I can do those things, but I don't really feel like it. I actually enjoy cleaning, so I really don't mind doing that for myself. But I did have someone tell me, Cleo, if you hire a cleaner to clean your place, you're not going to want to clean it yourself anymore. So maybe I'll test that out one day. But I want you to think about your habits, what you can change, and what help do you need in shifting your habits. The positive ones that need to stay, the negative ones that need to go. And what are some new positive habits that you can add into your life that's going to push you to the next level? What people do you need? What resources do you need that's going to help you be successful? This is a new time, a new year. What you had last year may not be enough to get you where you want to go in this next journey. So I want to encourage you to keep that at the top of your mind and think about your habits. And again, this is what it's all about. Making small steps every single day, which is why you should join the Daily Money Habits text community. This episode is brought to you by that community, the Daily Money Habits text community. So what is it? It is a community where you're going to get daily action every day. So every morning, you're going to get a text from me. It's going to be a financial affirmation, and it's also going to be one action step you can take towards your financial goals. Sometimes we can be so overwhelmed trying to do all these different things that we really don't get much accomplished. And on the other hand, you can do so many different things, and you can want to do all these different things that you really don't make any moves at all, and then you're still not doing anything. So the Daily Money Habits text community is to help you stay accountable, hold yourself accountable, and take small steps every single day. Because it doesn't always have to be something big. A lot of times it's the small baby steps that really add up to huge results later. So if you're someone who is managing your money and you're struggling with it, if you are someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, if you feel stressed and overwhelmed when it comes to your finances, this text community is for you. So I want you to text Money Habits to 615-813-4827, and you have to text Money Habits to that number, all caps. If you do not text Money Habits in all caps, you will end up on someone else's list. I'm going to say that again. If Money Habits isn't in all caps, you'll be on someone else's list. So I want to make sure that you are ending up on the right list. If you need someone to help you stay accountable and you need help on what to actually do to get closer to your goals, then that text community is for you. Daily Money Habits text community. It is a paid community. It's $37 a month. And you will also get live monthly financial workshops and a whole bunch of other things to help you get closer to your money goals and actually accomplish them as well. So this was the end of our Start Fresh series. If you missed part 1, 2, and 3, definitely go back and check those out. And I will see you next week on the next episode of Financially Free with Cleo. Bye-bye.
You can be financially free with Cleo.